Hey guys, it's Scott here, and I'm here tonight to talk about why Maximum Security and Country House, neither one's going to win the Preakness, even though Maximum Security finished first in the Kentucky Derby and Country House finished second. And if you watch my previous videos, you know that I picked Maximum Security, as my #1 pick, and then I picked Country House, to be my top long shot, especially to come in second. And I say that, based off of historical Kentucky Derby trends. But unfortunately, the result came in, but disqualification kind of messed it up. But the winners of the Preakness, generally, or winners of the Kentucky Derby rather, generally don't do that great in the Preakness. There's some exceptions like American Pharoah and Justified, but both of them were, Triple Crown winners. But you had Always Dreamin', won the Kentucky Derby. Finished, I think, last in the Preakness, and you had Cloud Computing, win that race. And then in 2016, it looked like, Nyquist was, almost a guarantee to win the Preakness. But, he didn't win Exaggerator, called a wet track. And I'll break down who got second in just a minute. But as you can see, the winners don't really translate to the, Preakness too well. And I think Maximum Security caught lightning in a bottle twice, and I'll show it right here. I'll replay the Kentucky Derby, and they take off, and Maximum Security goes straight to the lead like he's been doing in just about every one of his races. And a lot of the jockeys come, pressing. I think they was more trying to get position than actually worried about, pressing Maximum Security. But that's just how the Kentucky Derbies ran. The first quarter always goes really quick because jockeys are vying for position. And they ran it, 22:31. And, right about here after the first turn, the race is really going to slow down. They run to the half mile in like, 46 and changes, almost, a 24-second, half mile. And, you can just look, and it's, Max Security is just, basically at gallop right now. He's not even, trying that hard. His ears are still pricked up. And, it looked like, especially after they run the 3/4 in like 1:12, I knew that, he was going to win, at that point. Or, well, other than disqualification, I thought he was going to win. See, 1:12.50, and, they come around the turn, and, here in just a few seconds, he's going to jump out and start a good little chain reaction, cutting off War Wheel, affects Long Range Toddy, and, it's just a big old mess. And, but, that was, just another slow race, and Maximum Security had a lot to, he had plenty left in the tank to come home after getting 2 breathers, especially that near about 26 seconds from the 3/4 to the mile. That's less than, workout time. But I promise you this, in the Kentucky, or in the Preakness rather, he's not going to get, that kind of, setup again. I don't know who it's going to be yet. The full Preakness still ain't out, but somebody is going to, press him. I just about guarantee you that the pace is going to be flying in the Preakness. They're not going to let him walk from the front end again. And right now, the horse that I think best fits the description to press him is, Always Mining. And he's been racing at Laurel, not a, bad horse. I'll break down in the next, few days if I think, he can win the Preakness or not. But, and, we'll get in the Country House. Horses that get second in the Kentucky Derby generally don't pull it off again in the Preakness. Like Good Magic last year, he got second in the Kentucky Derby, then finished 4th in the Preakness. 2017, you had Looking at Leaf in the second in the Kentucky Derby, finished like 5th or 6th in the Preakness, I believe. And in 2016, Exaggerator, is one of the rare ones that improved, but he went from 2nd to 1st. But if you had kind of handicapped that year, Exaggerator on wet track was, you better take that every time. Like, he just ran, exceptional, muddy track. He got 2nd there, but you see he was, made his way to 1st. He probably just made a move too soon, but muddy track, Delta Downs got 1st. Caught another sloppy track in the Santa Anita Derby, got 1st by 6 1/4 lengths. So, you could tell he loved a wet track. So, that was a good bet to bet him to place 1st that day. And, 2015, you had Fire in Line, got 2nd in that race. And, he doesn't get it. Televerb actually ends up getting, 2nd. And it's always, the new horses that seem to, sneak in there and get it. I guess because they're, they didn't have the rigorous, Kentucky Derby. They, prepped, a month before, so they're more on, they're pointed to the race, whereas the, other horses are pointed to the Kentucky Derby, and the Preakness is kind of, if we do good in the Kentucky Derby type deal. But, you can see, look at, now there are some exceptions, like last year, Pavaza, he got, 6th in the Kentucky Derby, and, he finished 2nd in the Preakness. And I actually played that because I kind of seen history repeating itself, because back in 2013, a horse named Oxbow kind of had the same trend, done good, in the Rebel, completely flopped in the Arkansas Derby, ran in the Kentucky Derby, got 6th, but, he was bumped around a little bit, and, Dwayne Lucas ran him back and got, he won that race. But I didn't think, Bravazzo was going to be justified, but I, figured, Dwayne Lucas was a good enough trainer, that he knew his horse to, have him fire again. So I actually bet an Exacta, Justify over Bravazzo and Tenfold. Where's he at? There he is. And I was hoping, Tenfold would win because it would have near about doubled my pay, but, I can't complain off of that race. And then 2017, you had Cloud Computing. He broke his maiden, ran in the Gotham, got 2nd to J-Boy's Echo. Ran in the Wood Memorial, got 3rd to Irish Warcry Battalion Runner. And, he went on to win the Preakness. And, I actually thought that Classic Empire done all the, dirty work in the Preakness. He put away Always Dreaming, and Cloud Computing, just kind of, is able to catch a week in Classic Empire. But, it is what it is. But still, you see it's a horse that didn't run in the Kentucky Derby. Go to 2016. Nyquist looked like just about as sure of a thing as you can get. Didn't win the Preakness. He caught a really fast pace. I think it was Uncle Lino that pressed him all the way through. And Exaggerator got 1st, and Cherry Wine got 2nd in the Preakness, and he just nipped Nyquist, at the wire, but Nyquist was, after pressing that fast pace, was just done. But you see Cherry Wine, hadn't ran since the Bluegrass and got, he finished 2nd. And then 2015, Barrick and Farrow won the Kentucky Derby. You kind of, like, you just know when Baffert has one of his horses that's going to win the Triple Crown. Like, you just know it. And they had Dortmund, Firing Line, those would have been the top, choices to bet. But, they both fell out. And I think it's because their tank was emptied from the, Kentucky Derby. And you had Televerb, trained by Dallas Stewart. If you follow him, you know that he's known for, getting some long shots up there. But he ended up coming in second in that race. And then I don't have the past performance for 2014. I tried to, look and be able to find it, but I can't find it for that year. I have it for 2013, or won the Kentucky Derby. He came off wins, the Florida Derby, Kentucky Derby, Fountain of Youth. Seemed like a good solid bet, but he didn't win. That's when Oxbow, won the race, and It's My Lucky Day, came in and got second. Now he did run in the Kentucky Derby, but based on where he finished, it don't seem like the Kentucky Derby took a whole lot out of him. And he had ran good races before that. Finished second to Orb in the Florida Derby, and had a rider upgrade, John Velasquez. So that was something you could play. But you see, for the most part, just because horses finish, somewhere, first or second, the Kentucky Derby doesn't always, translate to, the Preakness. And as the field, comes together, I'll, break down who I like, look at what trainers have done in the past, with the horses coming in. But as of right now, I promise you that Maximum Security and Country House will not win the Preakness. That's it, guys. Thanks.